So the last bit is probably the most important. It's about what else we can get people like yourselves, ambassadors, doing to support that we're doing. As you all know, we are very busy, especially now there's limited team members, and it's very difficult to get out to as many events as we would like. So we're extremely grateful to everybody that goes to those events on our behalf. And also, as Mark said, as we've said this morning, actually having somebody that's been makes a big difference, because I can stand there and talk until the cows come home. Quite happy to as well. Quite like the sound of my own voice. But actually having somebody that's been makes a big difference. So the biggest way that ambassadors can support us is by coming along to student officer events, pre-retirement courses, wellbeing events, which are increasing a lot. We're getting so many more wellbeing events, invites and things like that. One of the biggest things that we've seen with regards to student officer inputs is there's been a bit of a shift in the way that they organise them. So previously we have had direct input to the students, so normally half an hour input, where we do a very similar presentation to this. We've got the videos, we might have an ambassador with us, and we give them the forms and we take the forms away to make sure they fill them in. What's happened in the last couple of months is that certain forces have actually changed the way they're doing that, and apparently it's from feedback from student officers that they're getting too much information, which you can appreciate when we do West Yorkshire inputs on the first hour of their first day. So they sit there like rabbit in the headlights. They get the Federation saying they're going to get divorced, they're going to get kicked, they're going to get punched, and then I turn up and go, hi, when you do this, we're here. So you can appreciate they get an awful lot of information. And if I had £1 for every time somebody told me, in my day, I used to get told to sign the form here, here and here, and if I asked why, I got hit around the back of the head. That doesn't happen anymore. So what they're now moving towards, I know, apparently it's wrong. I don't know whether I'm allowed to hit them around the back of the head. So what they're doing now is they're moving to an open day kind of event. Lincolnshire have been doing it for a little while now. G&P, who previously we used to brief 100 every couple of months, are going to open days. Derbyshire are going to open days where we did maybe 40 every couple of months. So there's been quite a big shift, and it is a lot harder to get people signed up at an open event than it is when you've got them sitting in front of you with a form in front of you and a pen, and you lock the doors until they fill the form in. So that's going to be quite a big challenge for us as a team to be able to get the same kind of sign-up levels. And I think you as ambassadors are going to be absolutely essential in those events, in trying to get, you know, people that you know. As I was saying to you, Bob, earlier, you know, if you stood on a stand and you know somebody, you can call them over. Whereas I'm just stood there like a lemon going, hi, can you come and have a chat with me?
That's what you did.
We
yeah,
do,
it
but
works.
it's amazing how invisible you appear when you're at an event like that. If you haven't got freebies, nobody wants you. That's one of the other things we'll be looking at. Those of you that have been to student officers will have seen the folders that we do. We're looking at getting repeat sponsorship for that, so that was sponsored by Slater Gordon in the last couple of years. We're looking at getting more folders, but we're also looking at splitting it to get bags, so goodie bags, branded goodie bags, where they can get a pen, stress ball, maybe a spork. We're looking at all options.
Pre-signed form.
Exactly, and yeah,
Pre-signed
a box
form.
they just have to tick. But it's trying to think of different ways to get the same interest levels at the open events that we do at, when we've got them locked in a room. So if you have any ideas about those, I've just had an email from Michael in the lunch break, so the first one's at the end of January, so if you're free. Once you've been to one and you've seen the difference in levels, you might be able to support us with a few ideas about how we might move forward with those, because I think quite a lot of the forces might be going that way eventually. So it also means a longer day for us as well, so we don't get half an hour and then back on the road again. Hopefully they will provide lunch, because that would make me very happy. One of the other ways that you might be able to help, and I know a few of you have already done this, so thank you very much, is a testimonial video. So when we don't have an ambassador with us, we show a compilation testimonial. That's both at student officers and pre-retirement courses. And again, it's an opportunity for them to hear firsthand from somebody that's been, and also see the facilities as well, because we will talk about the AutoG and we'll talk about the therapy dogs, and then they appear in the video, and it works out very nicely. So we're going to show you a little short one of Graham Johnson, who most of you will probably know from last year's event. Graham unfortunately has moved to Scotland now, so won't be able to support us in Humberside, but I think that incredible increase in Humberside is quite possibly down to Graham and Debs. So Debs was the wellbeing lead before she retired, and they were really very, very supportive in the work that we've done. So I will shut up and I will show you this video.
I mean, I've been one of those unlucky people, you could say, that's used Harrogate a lot. But I say unlucky in as much as I've had lots of injuries through my 30-year career and since I've retired. The treatment really and the care that's given has been just, it's gone from what was already fantastic. If it could get any better, it did get better. I've always walked in here with whatever the injury was, either hobbling or unable to use an arm or whatever it was, to almost skipping out the door, singing a merry tune as I've gone really, because the treatment's been that good. The facilities are, in my perspective, having seen a lot of other sporting facilities, second to none. The physio treatment is incredible. The care from the canteen staff, through the welfare staff, the nursing care, the bedroom facilities, I think you'd be hard pressed to find these facilities anywhere else in the world in such a fantastic setting with such friendly staff that are there to make sure you recover in the best way possible. But both centres, very, very good with lots and lots of facilities that actually make you feel at home. It's like a second home. It's not like going away for treatment. It's not like going on any kind of enforced thing you need to do. It's a home from home. One of the things I have noticed in getting treatment here, whenever I've applied for the treatment, it's come very, very quickly. I personally, and I can only speak from a personal level, I've never had to wait more than about 3 or 4 weeks to get the treatment that I actually required. I'm one of the fortunate people, I guess, to be able to afford private health insurance, and I've actually waited longer for private health care, paying for it myself, than I have been able to get in here. And I found that through the private healthcare system, and I have used it before, you get a session maybe once a week, once a fortnight, you go away and do your homework. Here you're getting that once, twice, sometimes 3 times a day, seeing a physio and doing your homework on top. So the recovery period coming here over that week or 2 weeks is when I was a serving officer, really cramming it in like cramming for an exam. You're cramming that fitness, that physio into your body, and the recovery time is just so much faster. So I always find the ability to get here for what is effectively, as far as I'm concerned, tuppence halfpenny in terms of value, has been absolutely incredible. If I'd not come here for the numerous times I've been, I would have been several weeks on each occasion, having a longer recuperation period, recovery period, probably more time off work. For me as an individual, that doesn't suit me at all. I have to be busy, I have to be doing something, I have to be active. Now probably you would say even more important, because now I run my own company, I run my own consultancy company. In the main, it's Graham, and if Graham doesn't get back on his feet and get back to work very, very quickly, Graham doesn't earn money. I can't think of anywhere else that's got these kind of facilities for people at such a low cost. And you would think, it's fantastic, we're there now, stop, that'll do nicely. But the centre are continually looking to improve, put new equipment in, new facilities. So really signing up to this for me, 1 was a no-brainer, 2 has been absolutely invaluable, and I just recommend to anyone, don't give it a second thought. Peanuts is the only way you can describe it. It is no money whatsoever to have that peace of mind that if anything goes wrong, you've got this backup. It's fantastic. Just absolutely brilliant to come here and walk out being able to do things that you couldn't do previously.
Right, so we are also going to give you a bit of an overview of some of the other fundraising activities that we've done. One of the big ones is the charity lottery that we have. So this is from our 2017 input report, so you can see that it raised over £124,000. To date this year, we've already raised £100,936 and 88 pence, very importantly. So we're very positive that we will get over 125 this year as well. One of the big things that we do for that is we do super draws twice a year. So we've just had the cut-off for the November super draw. We doubled the top prize, so it's normally £1,000, it goes up to £2,000. And we've got spot prizes, quite a lot of alcohol, weekends away, things like that. So that brings in an awful lot of money for the charity. We've done a bit of a regional review of the lottery to see where we're getting the most support from. So this is the biggest forces. So there are more forces than this. It's just that we've only looked at the top range. So unsurprisingly, the biggest forces, so Police Scotland and PSNI, are our biggest supporters through that. But you can see that actually the forces where we're particularly engaged, and we do a lot of pre-retirement, because it does seem to be the retired officers that support the lottery the most, is where we've got the highest percentage of people supporting. This is for the first 6 months of this year, so we are going to do it now that we've had the second super draw for a full 12 months, so we can have a look and see. But again, when you're out talking to people, promoting the lottery, it doesn't have to be a police officer. You can get your wife, your husband, your partner, your kids, maybe if they're over 18 because it's gambling, to sign up and to support the charity. So really good way of supporting the charity. The other incredibly popular one is hospitality, as you all know. So we sold out completely at Harrogate last year, and we did really well at Castlebrae. We released the dates for this year on the 1st of October, and I think we had about 90 in a few days applications to come and stay. Particularly big weekends, so like the flower shows or Christmas shopping weekends always go really quickly. So it's been really popular because, as you heard Mark say, wellbeing tend to stay for the middle weekend, but physio tend to go home. They tend to go and see the families. So we had open bedrooms, so we're able to bring in a lot of money from that. You can see in 2017 we had £78,000 raised. So far this year we've got at St Andrews 66,659 raised for here and 19,486 raised at Castlebrae. So we're going to be well over that income for this year. For next year, we've also increased the rate as well, because it was £100 for 2 nights for 2 people, but it's still not going to break the bank because we've only gone up by 20 quid. So it's £120 for 2 nights for 2 people. And I don't know about you, but I always have to say that a couple of times.
Yeah.
2 nights, 2 people, 120 quid. In Harrogate, it is such good value. We also have some discounts as well. So we have things like Fountains Abbey, Betty's, you have afternoon tea. So we're trying to promote a big, nice environment for people to stay. The feedback, as you can see on that bottom bit, is absolutely fantastic. People are always really positive about the facilities, the staff, the ground, the fact that we're very close to the centre of town. Castlebrae is a little bit quieter. I think it's mainly due to the weather. People want to see how wet it's going to be or how midgy it's going to be. But it is absolutely stunning up there. If you like walking, if you like drinking whiskey, it is the best place to go. So again, we did a bit of a summary of our guests for the first half of the year. So on the left, you've got St Andrews, on the right at Castlebrae. And it's quite funny because when we go to Castlebrae, they always say, why do people from Scotland want to stay in Scotland for a holiday? You know, why would you do that? Well, they do. We can actually prove that people from Police Scotland stay in Scotland and go on holiday there. So it's about promoting what they what we've got. We've got discounts at Scone Palace. We've got different events that they can go to. I mean, it's half an hour to get into Stirling. It's an hour to get into Edinburgh. So it is a really good hub to be able to go and experience different things.
It's a lot closer, I think.
It is. It is.
I was up in Dundee last week. I couldn't believe how Kelpies and Stirling Castle is just off at A9.
It is. Yeah.
Miles away.
You do. You go, oh, it's in Scotland. I don't know. But the people that go very regularly. I think we had somebody stayed this year. Was it their 9th time?
Yeah.
Their 9th visit. Which is
Greedy.
absolutely fantastic. Yeah. There's a few couples that actually have family a little bit further north. So they go to see the family and then they stay at Castlebrae on the way back, which I think is a great idea. Right, I'm going to pass back over to Zoe, who's going to do a bit about the fundraising.
Thank you. So another bit of our income stream is fundraising. Last year we raised just over £5,500 from individual fundraisers. So by individual fundraisers, I mean people going out being daft and throwing themselves out of planes, Tough Mudders, Ironmans, 10Ks, things like that. The people that individually sign up for an event on our behalf to raise money. So we raised just over £5,500 last year. This year so far we've already raised over £14,500. It's been kind of just a bit of a surge, and we're hoping to carry on building on that for next year. So this is a group that did a Tough Mudder for us. This is a daft person that threw themselves out of a plane for us. Another Tough Mudder, I think that was a celebratory beer that I've managed to hide there that was in that picture. Alex, he did an Ironman for us, and I think an important thing, if people are fundraising as well, they can decide that their money goes to a certain thing. So Alex really benefited from the Watt bike when he was here, so his money specifically came, and we bought a new Watt bike for downstairs, and that's Helen reluctantly posing there for a picture. And then, I think we need a big R at this point. Oh, look, it's Finley. So Finley is Tracy's little boy, who's there. He's raised over £1,000 for us doing the mini Great North Run. And he dressed up, and it was just, the pictures were fantastic. So
Most popular thing on
most
Facebook
popular fundraiser this year. So it's getting the message out that there's that you can do as well, and it's a fantastic way that people can support us, and we will and we'll do as much as we can to support any fundraisers, so they get a fundraising pack. We can help set up their online giving and stuff. So it's a great way, and it just gets the message out there on our social media as well when we're doing things like that. We also this year, for the first time, bought some places. So we bought some places for the Manchester Marathon, bought some charity places. That meant that our runners didn't have to pay themselves for that place to enter the Manchester Marathon, and we asked that they raised £100 each minimum. You can see that they smashed that and raised over £1,000 between the 5 of them. So we had a couple of people from Wales, we've got Rebecca there from Merseyside, and Craig from GMP, I think it was. So we had a fair mix. So that was a really good thing that we did this year. We had a bit of trouble getting that 5th place filled, but we did it, and we're hoping next year we can buy some more places in some different events. Generally, our fundraisers do tend to be police officers or related to police officers in some way. So it's getting that message out there for next year that we've got these places once we've got them, and get people signed up, because it's a fantastic way, again, to raise money. And these 5 people were all running in our vests around Manchester, which is great. We're also putting on some events of our own next year. So Back on the Beat, some of you may have heard of it. It'll be our 3rd year doing it next year. We're hoping, obviously, to make it the biggest and best. We've got a new route this year. So previously we've just had a 50k and a 99.9k route. I say just, that's a lot. We've also got an intermediate 65k this year. For those that have done the 50 and gone, I fancy it, but maybe not the 100, we've got the 65k this year. There's various levels, so they can enter and just pay. But for those that are entering as a fundraising hero and will pledge a certain amount of fundraising, they'll get their entry for free. Is it for over £500? They'll also get a free weekend stay here that weekend, so that they can be super prepared and nice and up early. So we're really hoping to push that and get as many people doing that as possible. In the packs that I've given you, there's some posters, so please hand them out, put them up wherever. We want to get that message across. We are also next year doing another cycling themed event. So that's the 12th of May. The psychological bike ride is in June. This is a crazy idea, born from a gentleman that's been involved in our Back on the Beat. He wanted to set up a cycle ride from Oxford to Harrogate and get one rider from each of our 23 forces, and they will be doing it in a day. So thankfully it's the longest day of the year. So they'll be starting at some awful hour in the morning, about 4:30, 5 o'clock, and they'll aim to be back in Harrogate for about 9, 10ish, they reckon. So we've written to all the chiefs to ask for the best of the riders within each force, because obviously they've got a long ride ahead of them. They need to be able to stick it out, and it's a peloton. It's not a race. The point is you're in it together and you're doing it together. So we've got a few people that have willingly, maybe not so willingly, volunteered for that, and the plan is that they'll get together, go up to Octorada the night before, get up really early, and then start the journey with we've got support vans and stuff. So if you know anyone that's a keen cyclist that might be up for the challenge, really keen cyclist, let us know, because we need to get in touch with them. Or if you know the right person in the sports and social committee, that kind of thing, that's really helpful. So that's June of next year. We've set a deadline for the 1st of December for people to get back to us, so we know kind of how many mad people we're looking at for that. Another thing to mention with the Sportif, again, a chap that's been instrumental in organising it, Darren from RTB Sportifs, and he's also a West Yorkshire officer. He wants to walk the 99.9k route. He plans to set off the day before the bikes set off, so that he's coming back for when the bikes come back. Again, he's hoping for £1 donation from every officer, if possible. So again, loads of stuff's going to be on social media about that, so if you can share it and just get it out there. And with the psychological, we're aiming for £1 from every single eligible officer in each force. That's a big aim, but we're going to try. So those are the kind of things that we've got on next year. Another big income stream for us, and some of you may have been involved in this when you were here, is the social committee, and we're continually keeping on with this. It's a totally voluntary thing. We've had a fantastic group this week. They've done a swimathon and swum 24 miles between them in the pool. They've had fantastic raffle prizes. They've even managed to persuade BMW to lease them a car for a weekend as a raffle prize. So they've done really, really well. And it raises lots of money for us. So far this year we've raised just over 53 grand by 12 pence. So we did fantastically well last year. Castlebrae always tends to really push it, maybe because they're not as close to a town, so they get more involved. So we're just hoping to keep that momentum up. So for any of you that did it, thank you very much, because it means a lot. So, ambassador successes. As Fran mentioned earlier, I don't know if you remember the figure from how many we went out to last year. Was it 92? I need to remember the figure. So we went out to 91 inputs last year. So far this year we have attended 306, which is just amazing.
And why we look so tired.
And we've had ambassador support at these as well from you guys. Trying to put into comparison when an ambassador comes and when an ambassador doesn't come. Sorry, Sue, I'm going to use you as an example here. So in Lincolnshire, we have a kind of an open event. It's not a direct input, but they are forced in little groups to come round to each. So we do kind of get, 10 minutes with them to speak to them. So Sue came along with me, and there was a 57% sign up to PTC and a 47% to St George's. The next time, Sue couldn't come with me, so I went by myself, and it was 23% across both. So it does show having that person there that's been there, done that, is specific to that force, really makes a huge difference. It really does. So we're hoping to continue that into next year. And as Fran says, at the minute the team is a little bit depleted, so it really does make a difference if ambassadors can come. And if it's going to be more this open event, well-being event, as we found, Tracy, people will come and talk to you because they recognise you, they won't recognise me. And it's fantastic when people are there. So thank you, basically, for doing that. It really does mean a lot. And if you go back to force, tell them how much it means, give them the leaflets, just speak to them, tell people to sign up. It really is fantastic that you're there to help us. So thank you for all of you that have come and helped. And like I say, we'll be doing more next year, so there'll be lots more opportunities for you to come and help.